Yo, who's trying to bash us over the head? The fuck? Oh, it's Classroom Elite been on a roll. Make sure you leave a like, though, on this video. Subscribe if you're new around here on Patreon. You can't get full live reactions to all these episodes. Let's jump into it. I'm loving this island. Uh-oh. Ooh. Uh-oh. That gets us expelled, does it not? He said if I would have backhanded you, you wouldn't be getting up right about now. Bro's having a strategy meeting in his head while he's fucking defending himself. How the fuck she do that? The fuck? Yo, what the fuck has been going on in the White Room? How the fuck did the son of apparently a dad we kill end up in Nanase's body? Trauma so intense she created an entirely split personality in order to justify her feelings. She squared up for that one. Basically, she just said, go ahead and get me expelled, but I'll reveal your past on my expulsion, which will ruin your life too. So basically, let me beat the shit out of you. Otherwise, your secret is exposed. That one stung. That one hit her right in the feels. Record this, bitch. This is your moment. Really should have been recording that. Money sounds like a better way to keep our mouth shut. He's not strong-arming her either. He's going for the emotional gut punch. And he's definitely speaking from the heart, but it's Ayanokoji, right? Everything he does is calculated. Even if there are some good intentions sometimes behind the manipulation. The thing about Classroom Elite that I've always really liked is that how Ayanokoji is a manipulator, right? And everything he does is a form of manipulation. Now, I'm not saying a lot of his manipulation doesn't appear as kindness. That's definitely intentionally designed, but I really appreciate the ending of this episode because back when he kissed his girlfriend, there was some debate in my comments, and it was fun debate. It was healthy debate. It was fun to have these arguments because that's kind of part of the fun of watching a show like this. But I think a lot of people have forgotten who he is as a person at his core. I think what you're supposed to do with him as a character is that the more the show goes on, the more you are supposed to doubt how much is fake, how much is real. Because there's definitely elements of true enjoyment. I think there is some elements of compassion, and I think there is some elements of genuine, like, I like this person. But a majority of who he is as a person is a manipulator. And I love the fact that by the end of this episode, after a whole scene of that just appears to be kindness, he could have beat her senseless, he could have defended himself much more, but instead he offered a helping hand. He literally says, the only difference between that man and me is that he wouldn't offer a hand. He wouldn't show kindness to a useless fool. And the fact that he boldly tells himself in his head, like he's not saying it out loud because a master at manipulation, is that it doesn't matter if she's useful here. She's a pawn. Everyone is a pawn. And it's freaky. And I think talking about this, there'll be two reactions. One half being like, well, duh, he's Ayanokoji. Of course he's a manipulator. We know this. But to those people, I say, you don't realize half the people watching the show have gotten to this point and have actually been manipulated by him because he's such a good manipulator that people truly just think that, yeah, no, he's not as bad as he is. No, he is. And this is what's so interesting. Manipulation being presented as kindness, it feels easier to swallow because if he was the type of person just punching people repeatedly, right? No one would fall for any bullshit. But because time and time again, he feels like he's helping his class, he's helping people, it's very easy to forget. And I think this is the most important scene we've had so far this season. I mean, the whole latest episode was fantastic, and last week's episode was fantastic. I'm loving the island arc. It is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. But this is the highlight for me, 100%. Now, I will say, at this point, she's got to be the White Room student, right? Like, obviously, no spoilers, but for a hot minute, I've been thinking as much. The way she's acting, it doesn't feel like she wants to tear down Ayanokoji. She seems obsessed with him. And why would someone be obsessed with him who knows he's most likely a White Room student unless you yourself are a White Room student and you are just in awe of who he is and his talents? Like, that makes sense to me. And I'm going to keep my money here. And I've pretty much had my money on her being the White Room for a hot minute. But after this episode, it feels too much like, oh yeah, for sure, it has to be her. And that has me excited to see where they're going to take. I also thought the fight was overall really well done. It's probably the best animated thing we've seen this season of Classroom Elite. The choreography was great. There was a lot of really, like, impressive static shots where you're just like, holy shit, the detail, the aura, it was nice. And I think one of the coolest things we did was the fact that every single time he could have connected a punch, he would just tell her, that's the first. That's the second, that's the third. I think it was after the second he said if that one would have landed, you would have been knocked out. Like, it's just, it's so interesting, right? Because she's going about this whole like, I'm secretly this guy, and I'm like, what the fuck has been happening in the White Room? For a brief moment, they had me completely suspecting her as a White Room student. I was like, you never know what type of crazy bullshit's been going on there. But the fact that she came up with this whole justification, like she created a paranoia reality, and bro's like, bro literally told her to stop self-diagnosing, as he acted as her therapist. I'm surprised he wasn't checking his watch or phone or something while simultaneously deflecting. It was fucking amazing. It was just absolutely fantastic what they did. And then obviously it leads into the manipulation, because I forget where I first heard it, but it's a pretty common trope about how, like, a dead person serves no use, but a living person can be a tool to be used. And that's how he sees stuff like this, right? If there's a way to get someone on his side, that's far more useful than just eliminating any potential threat, right? And I think given this situation, her vulnerability with her emotions, she's much more exploitable than someone who's a lot more clear, calm, and collected with everything going on. Another standout scene, of course, were these bozos. I mean, the whole time I'm hoping, hey, let's record on our iPad. Probably a good thing we didn't record it, because that might have got us killed. Freaky sons of bitches. And I think it really, like, this scene here, it contrasts the difference of manipulation. This is strong-arming, fear-threatening manipulation to keep people in line, versus Ayanokoji, who's technically doing the same thing, just doing it via a kindness kind of mask. And it's very interesting to see the parallels of what's going on, and it's like, you can never quite tell who's the hunter and who's the hunted, because both of them are hunting equally well. But it'll be interesting to see where we go, right? Because I think at this point, it's safe to say this is the best season of Classroom of the Elite. I love it the most. I mean, maybe it helps that it's an extra long season, so we're really getting time to dive into this arc. It's just great. I think the characterization's interesting. I think Ayanokoji has become a more interesting character. Yes, he continues to manipulate, but there is obviously these elements where you never quite know how much is manipulation. Like, to me, it's like 95% is manipulation and 5% might be some genuine feelings blossoming, but he's such a conditioned tool and manipulator that it's never going to completely overshadow the calculating nature of his persona. But yeah, I think this latest episode definitely reiterates who he is as a person, so those who have maybe been blindsided by his nice guy act can remember who our MC actually is. Those are just my thoughts. You can let me know your feelings down below on this episode, last week's episode, whatever you're feeling, let me know. Drop a like, share your support, those subscribing, that bell, and Patreon. You can catch full live reactions to every single episode. I've been hit or a miss for YouTube. Sometimes the videos do well, sometimes they don't, so definitely make sure you slap that like and leave me a comment. It does help the algorithm a lot. But either way, Patreon for live reactions. And if you're already over there, I'll give you a video shout out too, because my patrons make it all possible over here on YouTube. All right, so today we got subject 3, Sarnik, Demon 69, Attack Owl, Gomison, Ciaris, Ryuki, Kevin, Chawrick, Rerun, and we also have Azop. So I appreciate the support. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.